Greg asked, who is that? If this is your first morning here, I usually have a beer, and I have shade. So yeah, elephant in the room. In this great pause between headlines and hurry, nothing needs to make sense. For these few moments, no quick take reactions are required, no fully formed analysis, no sense of what to do next. For this time, remember only your breath and your belonging on this blue-green globe. And know, if most everything feels like a mess, you are not wrong, and you are not alone. We come here to sort it out, to untangle the grief and the gratitude, the birthdays and the beatitudes, the breaking points and the beginning again. We come to practice forgiveness. We come to practice joy and to reclaim humanity beyond hashtags and comment sections on the internet, to stumble and to struggle, to sing and to strive, to wake up ready and alive for this new day, this light, this life, which offers itself to us all as a gift. Let us create this space together this morning. And we do welcome you here. We are glad that you are here, that you chose, of all the places you could be on the Sunday morning, that you chose to come here at 10 o'clock to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Central Oregon. We are glad you are here. We are exploring the idea of what's on our minds this morning. What have you been thinking about, perseverating on, worried about, joyous about? What's on your mind today? And to take this out of the theoretical into the practical, you will see a note card on your chair, and I will invite you to write down just that. What's on your mind today? And I'll collect these and I'll read some of them out loud. If you would like yours not read, you can put an X on the corner of it. But later in our service, we'll collect these and we'll just hear some of what is on our minds, what we are carrying with us into this space this morning. And indeed, I'll take these and use some of these thoughts to inform our year of Sunday services. What is on your mind? What is on your heart? Where is your spirit? We welcome you into this space. We love together, we live together, we laugh together, we sing together, and we strive together. Indeed, it is good to be together. And I'll invite us to sing our opening song together. It is Come, Come, Whoever You Are. Please rise in body or spirit, and we will sing it all through together once. Twice. We'll sing it all through together twice, and then we'll break into rounds, beginning with this side and then this side, and I'll lead you on that. And if you've sung this song before, we're going to do, as an option, there is this other part. It's part of the Rumi poem that was left out of our hymnal. And it's this line of ours, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times. Though you've broken your vows 1,000 times. So if some of you want to sing that part, it just goes, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times. So whoever feels so called can just throw that in underneath, because that's an important line in the theology of this song. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come. Though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, we begin again and again in this covenanted community. no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wonder, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are. Come, come, whoever you are. Wonder, worshiper, lover of leaving. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are. Come, come, whoever you are. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come yet again, come. Yay! We haven't done that song in a long time.
Might be fit your name.
Yeah, that works. An ironing board.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Roxanne Linehan, and Pat Linehan is lighting the chalice. A candle is a small thing, but one candle can light another. And as it gives its flame to the other, see how its own light increases.
I don't get rid of that.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Good morning. I'm Amy Brock, and I'm our Director of Religious Exploration for Children and Youth. And if you'd like to come down here so that you can see a little bit better today, you're welcome to do so at this time. And if you're comfortable where you are, that's cool too. And while our friends are thinking about coming or not, maybe just take a moment to think about the word thoughts. What are thoughts? Where do they come from? Why do we have them? I don't know. Think about thoughts. Our story today is an adaptation of a book called Your Mind is Like the Sky, and it's by Bronwyn Ballard and Laura Carland. So your mind is like the sky. We're going to pretend that this is our mind and it's kind of like the sky. Sometimes it's clear and smooth like the water in my cup. Sometimes it's kind of crackly, maybe shaky. It can change and move. And our thoughts are like the clouds. I'm gonna add some clouds to this mind. Sometimes our thoughts are like white, fluffy clouds. And sometimes they're more like dark, stormy clouds. Add some dark, stormy clouds to this one. We have one that has light, white, fluffy clouds, and one that has dark, heavy clouds. Thoughts come and go all the time for lots of different reasons. Mine do anyway. Do yours come and go? Yeah, lots of different thoughts that come and go. And sometimes when thoughts come and go, they can bring feelings with them. And those feelings that come with our thoughts can be a little bit mysterious, sometimes kind of tricky. Add some mysterious, tricky thoughts here. And feelings. You ever had tricky, mysterious thoughts and feelings? Sometimes, maybe. So what can we do when this happens? What do we do with our thoughts and feelings when this happens? Well, I'll tell you what some people do. Sometimes they go exploring. So people like to go right down into their thoughts and feelings, and they just stir and mix it up. It's really good. So they're hoping to get to the bottom of it, because maybe if they get to the bottom of their thoughts and feelings, they can kind of understand them. If they have kind of achy feelings, it might make them go away. But when we do that, sometimes the thoughts and feelings get even bigger and darker. It can be really hard to see what's going on inside. So that can sometimes make people feel a little bit more yucky. So there's another thing that people can do sometimes too. Sometimes they hide their thoughts and feelings. They just pretend that they aren't there. And so they just walk and laugh and dance, and they say, I'm good, I'm fine, I'm great, I'm having a wonderful day, when their thoughts and feelings kind of look more like this. And that's fine. It's definitely a choice that we can make. But if those don't work for you, there's another thing that you can do. When a thought or difficult feeling comes around, we can look at them and we can say, hello, how are you? And sometimes when we notice our thoughts and feelings, we can remember that they are among hundreds of thousands of other thoughts and feelings, and that they're not all the same. They're different, and that they come and go. And when we do that, sometimes things start to get clearer, even they're still a little bit murky. Recognized all of our thoughts and feelings. We said hello to them and remembered that we have lots of them and that they come and go all the time. And they start to get a little bit clearer. It was really dark before. Now it's a lot lighter. And when we do that, that lets us be able to see the whole sky, all of the sky. You know what? All of you are like our sky here. All of your shapes and sizes and colors that you bring. So you're our sky, just like this sky is starting to appear. And that's something that's really cool about exploring thoughts and feelings. I'm so glad that you took the time to come and join us this morning so that we could explore the story together. And I want to let you know that coming up in the fall, in September, we're going to have more opportunities to explore stories together here and in our RE space. So as we've been talking about the last couple of weeks, we need some volunteers to join us to support our young people as they bring their thoughts and feelings and minds to our RE classes this fall. So we need people to support our young people of all ages. And after this service today in the RE space, I'm going to be holding an information session, just really informally, for people to come and ask questions and learn a little bit more about what we're hoping to do in the fall and how you can support. We need all of your help. So if you want to learn more about that after the service, get your coffee, come join me in the RE space. And if you wanted to join us on Zoom, you're at home today, you can find that link to join me on Zoom as well in your place. And with that, I will close our time together today, and we will say our children's covenant. In this place, I am kind. In this place, I am loving. In this place, I am a friend to the earth and all animals and people. In this place, I am loved.
as you come, may joy surround you as you stay. Stay in peace. Know my love is with you always as you stay, as you stay.
I encourage you to consider doing that. Our religious exploration classes are fun, and a chance to be able to hang out with the incredible young people in this congregation is one not to be missed. So we'll take our morning offering this morning to support the good works of this congregation, and I'll remind you that as the basket passes, you can put your thoughts into the basket as well.
Right, so this morning I'm going to play a song called To Take, To Hold. It's by Yanni, and it was just making me think while Amy was talking about taking risks to share our feelings and our thoughts, to take, to hold, to take a new idea, to hold that new idea and to be with it, to be present, and also just to take a deep breath. Everybody take a deep breath. And to hold your loved ones close to you.
Each week, we come together and we share our joys and our sorrows with one another. And during this time of sharing, if you have a joy or a sorrow in your heart that you'd like to light a candle for, we invite you to do that. And I do not see any written shared joys and sorrows this morning. Oh, are there some? Oh, fantastic. There are some written joys and sorrows. names, Grace? Oh, there's a lot. Okay, but I didn't get a chance to read through them yet, so. So Grace Kennedy shares 2 joys. Max, Merrill, and I celebrated 20 years of marriage. And yes, 20 years. And number 2, Shane Kennedy got to spend a week at the Kiwanis camp, giving him a break from me, his mom. Steve Moore shares a joy that I will soon leave for the Canyonlands of Utah for a 2-month stint with the National Park Service. Sorrow for leaving the joys of Central Oregon for some time, but I shall return. Liz Dougherty shares that let's keep alive in our hearts the people of Ukraine. And Laura shares a joy for Susan and Rob Kinney, who are loving and holding their new grandson, Bodie, in Missoula. It's a cute baby. I saw pictures. Anna Henson writes a concern that while visiting in Anchorage, Maggie Miller's son, Blaine, has died. Lots of love and care for Maggie and Pat and their family. Diane Darling shares a joy that our younger son was here for a very fun week. 3 of my Los Angeles girlfriends were here for 4 days and loved Bend. And our older son arrives next Saturday for a week. Another joy, I'll be celebrating my 65th birthday in Columbia on September 2nd. Joan Landsberg says, this morning on my way here, the car in front of me made a right turn across a bicycle lane, striking the bicyclist. The car did not stop. I did. The bicyclist said she was okay. Please be careful and look for bicycles when crossing a bicycle lane. Mary Rogers shares a sorrow for my husband who is gradually slipping away. And a joy for my ability to be there for him unconditionally. And a joy for my children who have all rallied around. And Pat Smith and Maggie Miller share that sorrow. Maggie's eldest son, Blaine Miller, died on Saturday. We know no details yet. Blaine was a U.S. Air Force and Alaskan Air veteran. He was 54 years old and had an amazing active life for the past 17 years as a quadriplegic. We hold all of these joys and all these sorrows in our heart collectively as a community. I'd like to invite us into some silent meditation, and followed by these words by Robert Frost, a poem called Lost in Heaven. But first, let's just be together in shared silence. Lost in heaven. The clouds, the source of rain, one stormy night offered an opening to the source of dew, which I accepted with impatient sight, looking for my old sky marks in the blue. But stars were scarce in that part of the sky. and no two were of the same constellation. No one was bright enough to identify, so 'twas not with ungrateful consternation. Seeing myself well lost, once more I sighed. Where in heaven am I? But don't tell me, O opening clouds, by opening on me wide. Let my heavenly lostness overwhelm me. Robin and Debbie and I would like to sing a song for you by a band called The Head and the Heart. It's called Lost in My Mind. Put your dreams away from now. I won't see you for some time. I am lost in my mind. I get lost in my mind. Mama once told me, you're already home when you feel loved. I am lost in my mind. I get lost in my mind. So I haven't preached a sermon in about a month. And oddly enough, when that happens, I forget how to do it. Every single time, every summer when I come back, I sit down to start writing the sermon and I think, how do I do this? What do I write about? And I feel lost. And I go through this existential thing of, why do we come to church? What makes it compelling? Why would people bother coming? And someone reflected to me recently that I often say, it's good to be together, it's good to be at church, thank you for coming. And this person wondered to me, do I say this out of insecurity, or do I say it as an affirmation that is authentic? Maybe a bit of both. People come to church for all kinds of different reasons. Some folks do come for the sermon. Other folks just come for the music. Some people wander around in the back and don't really even bother coming into this part of the church morning. When I think about what I'm going to preach on any given Sunday, that's probably the question I get asked the most is, where do you get your ideas from for a Sunday service? And the truth is, it's the intersection of three things. What's going on and alive in my mind and in my world, what's happening in our congregational life together, and what's happening in the world. And where those three things intersect is what you hear me ramble about every Sunday morning. But I do believe in church. I do love it. I mean it when I say thank you. And I'm glad that you came here on a Sunday morning. In no small part because if you didn't come, it would be a very empty room and I would just be talking to chairs. But yet, we come week after week to be with one another and to explore our values and to explore ideas. And so I didn't know what I was going to talk about this morning and I was feeling a little lost. And when I'm preaching about something and I get lost or I get stuck, I just name it and I say, this is what I'm stuck on. And so I was feeling lost. And feeling lost isn't necessarily a bad thing. I started enjoying this idea, this process of being lost. We can be lost by chance. Maybe we take a wrong turn. Maybe we have bad directions. Or maybe we've been uncritical of a guide of ours. Or sometimes we might get lost on purpose. This is the case with Millicent. Millicent got lost quite intentionally in the William Stafford poem, The Day Millicent Found the World. He writes, every morning, Millicent ventured farther into the woods. As she stayed near light, the edge where the bushes grew, where her way back appeared in glimpses among the dark trunks behind her. Then by farther paths or opening where giant pines had fallen, she explored even deeper into the interior, till one day she stood under a great dome among columns, the heart of the forest, and knew, lost. She had achieved a mysterious world where any direction would yield only surprise. And so we'll pause for a second, and I imagine Millicent, for whatever reason, to be a little girl. Though William Stafford doesn't say that, she might have been a grown woman wandering in the woods, but to be able to experience lost as the achievement of a mysterious world where any direction would yield only surprise strikes me as something that a young imagination might create. And it does take daring and trust to go forth into the world and commit yourself to the unknown, to places that are dark or could be frightening. So let us return to Millicent in the woods. Stafford writes, and now not only the giant trees were strange, but the ground at her feet had a velvet nearness. Intricate lines on bark wove messages all around her. Long strokes of golden sunlight shifted over her feet and hands. She felt caught up and breathing in a great, powerful embrace. A bird call wandered forth at leisurely intervals. From an opening on her right, "Come away, come away." Never before had she let herself realize that she was a part of the world and that it would follow wherever she went. She was part of its breath. Millicent knew what she was doing. She was looking for something different, someplace unique, someplace that was full of reverence. She was looking for a part of herself that opened into infinite possibility and that wasn't constrained by her already ideas or preconceptions or what others might think about her, but no, a place that was a kind of freedom to be lost in the woods, any direction, surprise. Being lost can be good if we can find freedom there. But perhaps it's important to not stay lost intentionally too long, because the whole point of life is indeed being found. It's in being relationship and connected to and to be interdependent with other humans and to life itself, to nature around us. There is always a force and energy and a desire which is seeking us or perhaps already holding us. And so we are a part of that nature, a part of this life. We are a part of its breath. So none of us can ever truly be beyond the pale. A pale, P-A-L-E, is a pointed upright stake. And so this phrase comes from to be beyond the pale is to be cast outside of the safe enclosure of a town or a fort or a community. It's to be an outcast. But you see, life cannot find us outside of the pale because we belong here. We are a part of this life. The poet David Wagner seeks to represent the wisdom of the First Nations elders that he knows when he writes in his poem, Lost. Stand still. The trees ahead and the bushes beside you are not lost. Wherever you are is called here, and you must treat it as a powerful stranger. You must ask permission to know it and to be known. The forest breathes. Listen. It answers. I have made this place around you, and if you leave it, you may come back again saying, here. No two trees are the same to raven. No two branches are the same to wren. If what a tree or a bush does is lost on you, you are surely lost. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. You must let it find you. In this way of thinking, maybe it's when we are lost and without direction that we can be the most at home. When we find ourselves in an unfamiliar place or situation or thought pattern, maybe it's then that we are in a better position to experience life directly, like Millicent, without our preconceived notions or our prejudices, but to see with our eyes open and our ears alive, to understand the world with an open heart. From the place called lost, we can peel away maybe our ego that we use to shield us from this life. And we stop hiding, and we can just be. And we live closer then to the root, closer to the core of our very being. And then we present ourselves, present to the moment, like Millicent in the woods, breathing. And then there, maybe there we can discover what Emerson discovered, that we are a part and parcel of creation, one with the blowing clover. Here, this earth, this place, this community of life, here. It's where we are on this morning, where we belong and create a sense of belonging for one another. And this is a part of our Universalist ancestors talking to us, those Universalists who experienced the holy as a love which poured out on all people equally, that ensured no one was beyond the reach of this love. No matter how lost you were, no matter how hard you hid yourself, the Universalists believed that God's love would find you and save you from the hell of isolation and despair. So let's finish Millicent's story. Stafford concludes that Aunt Dolby called her back that time, a high voice tapering faintly amongst the farthest trees. Millicent! Millicent! And that time she returned, but slowly, her dress fluttering along pressing back branches, her feet stirring up the dark smell of moss, and her face floating forward, a stranger's face now, with a new depth in it, into the light. If we consider here as a place that we belong and carry that with us, it's impossible to stay lost forever. We return back to our lives, but hopefully we return changed. We come back knowing ourselves and our place in creation a little more deeply, a little more complexly perhaps, and maybe even a little more tenderly. We consider with humility and with reverence that we get to be a part of this thing called life together. And so we come into religious community, and yes, I do say it week after week. I'm glad that we create this space, that we are a religious organization of people with like values, like minds, and like hopes for our world. We come together and we share our ideas and our thoughts with one another. And in doing so, we change one another, and we ourselves are changed. And so I asked you this morning to write down some thoughts that are on your mind. And I'm going to read some of these and just let them wash over us and be changed as we hold this space with one another. I'm thinking about the next chapter of my life and all the uncertainties that will bring, what I'll look and feel like on the other side of it all. What's on my mind? What to make for dinners this week. Worries about my dad and my father-in-law, and how to juggle all the to-dos in my business. Is our country heading towards civil war? An acquaintance lost her son to a terrible accident. My heart is broken for her and her family. Climate change and the short-sightedness of many people and most politicians. Travel for a wedding, domestic civil war, beginning of the school year, economic loss, inflation. Grief for the loss of rights. Worry that my granddaughter has fewer rights than I had. The division in our country. My school schedule, tolerance questions, how hate continues to survive and thrive, the stress of going back to school. Who am I outside of work, beyond raising kids? The state of our democracy. Are we headed for another civil war? My close friend and his son, age 10, was hit by a car and has a serious head and face wounds. I am so tired of hearing how bad our country is. It isn't. It's a wonderful place. Gratitude for this life, and sadness for loneliness. Students arriving this week, and the role of ego. It is time to show up and live our values. I'm happy and tired and loving. So when I was lost and didn't know what to preach about today, I decided to preach about being lost and simply being here and trusting that each of us brings with us into this space all kinds of ideas, all kinds of thoughts. Our hearts are heavy, our hearts break. We wonder about our values and we wonder about our world. Every Sunday, we show up. And so, I just simply trusted that we would be here, that we would find ourselves a part of this shared breath, and that we create this space together. And indeed, I'll look through all of these thoughts and use them to inform the sermons for the rest of the year, so that hopefully I won't find myself at a loss again. Let's sing our closing hymn. I'll invite you to rise in body or spirit, or stay seated, or dance in the aisle, whatever it is you'd like to do. But we're going to sing our closing hymn, Love Will Guide Us. Join us as we say together the covenant of this congregation. Our covenant is the promise that we make to one another that we will be a community that we will show up again and again for one another, doing it imperfectly all the while, but being willing and courageous and brave enough to always return again. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its law. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. We'll close with these words by Wayne Arneson. Take courage, friends. The way is often hard, and the path is never clear, and the stakes are very high. Take courage, for deep down there is another truth. You are not alone. Go in peace. Amen.